Hello fellow survivors, and welcome to a walkthrough of the Hunted Part 1 for speedrun purposes if you want to do that. I should point out before you start watching this, if you just want to complete the Hunted Part 1 but not speedrun it, I have a separate walkthrough on how to do that, so you can complete it safe and sound, no hassle, and you can conquer the bear. It's really not that hard once you know what to do. However, it's also very popular to speedrun the Hunted Part 1. Hopeless Rescue is probably the most popular of all the challenges of speedrun, but the Hunted Part 1 is probably number 2. Also, it's not that long of a challenge, so it's something that's good to actually give a try. So today I'm going to give you an example of how you can do it. It's not going to be a world record time or anything, and there are a couple of RNG, that is to say randomness factors, that come into play that are outside of your control. Most notably whether there's coffee in the farm, and I'll explain all of that stuff. So I might need more than one attempt. The attempt will be what it will be, but I will give it my best. First things first, if you are one of the players who play without music, you should put the music back on for this. I usually have it on 40%. The reason being that music is important in this challenge, because whenever the bear is coming for you, the music will change and it plays like the bear's theme, so now you know that it's coming for you. So that will help knowing what's going on. So you should have music on. Okay, then we're going to challenges. We're doing a new one, and we're doing Hunted Part 1. And let's hop right into it, and then I'll explain what's happening. So get ready for a bear mauling. We'll do Astrid. Hunted speed. Alright, so first we get mauled, and then we're gonna have to do things as fast as possible. Alright, so it's a shame we can't skip that, but here we go. So now we're running on the clock, and what we want to do first is to get into the basement, loot it as fast as possible, and then we need to get out of here and use the stim to get to the farm. We're not going to rest in there, so let's try and do that as fast as we can. Turn around, walk in here, and grab this if you want for wood. And in here there's some RNG elements, so first things first. How much health you have is determined randomly. First thing you want to do is stop the bleeding. You can also stop the infection. And then how much health you spawn with after mauling varies a little bit. Then we need the loot here. We need the stim. We need lantern fuel. Well, there's not a lot of it, so we're might not be using that. The stress pistol, very important. We don't need any of the other stuff except this. We can take that. We can take the book. Flare's fine. Look for any clothing items just for warmth, because we will take damage. Socks, that's good. And then there's some wood here, and let's quickly put on the clothing items, and then we are leaving right away. And you can see we have very little health, and actually that might come back to bite us. So now we're going to take a shortcut down. We're going to head this way, and we're going to Billy go down towards the path from the plane crash, and then when we get to the river, we're going to pop our stim and sprint to the farm. Now there's a few randomness factors to this challenge if you want to speedrun it really fast that are outside of your control. Let me explain them after I go down. So you're going to go down here. It's possible to do this flawlessly without taking any damage, but you can also do it with taking some minor damage if you do it too fast. But generally speaking, it's not too difficult. And then there's another small shortcut over here. You see it's getting cold. And there's just...
I can't feel my hand.
And let's get down. And then you want to get ready the stim. And a little bit after this big fallen tree over here. There's the bear music, but he's not going to catch up with us now. There's another, I'm in the red. And when you get past, roughly when you get past this fallen tree here, you want to pop the stim and start running. And you want to run all the way to the farm. And then you do a sit rep there. So let's just see if I can get a bit closer. And I think here is probably good. So let's go. Boom. Let's run. There we go. Now while I'm running, I explain a couple of randomness factors that's outside your control. One is the wind. As you can see, I actually have the wind against me. So I'm running much slower than I normally would. And that's actually hindering my progress. Normally if you pop a stim by that tree, it is possible that you will run all the way to the farm, no problem. In this case though, I have the wind against me, so I'm actually running slower than I normally would. Now I'm in cover, so I run faster. So I most likely will make it to the farm a little bit later than normal. That's one of the factors that's against you. So if you want to do this really fast, you might want to just restart the challenge if that's not in your favor. The other thing is that the game seems to randomly give you health after the mauling. So when the challenge starts, the bear mauls you, and then when you bandage, you have a little bit of health left. But it varies a little bit from run to run how much health you have left. So therefore there's a certain health factor that's outside of your control as well, which is very unfortunate. So sometimes you'll go in the red, like I did there. I had very low life when I popped the stim. Other times you have more life. And in this run is actually one of the worst possible situations you can have. This is probably the worst outcome you can get, because I had very low life to the extent that I had red when I popped the stim, and I have the wind against me, when normally you'd want to have the wind neutral or in favor, so you can get to the farm as much as possible. So the wind and your health is completely random. The other thing is whether you find tinder and accelerant and where you spawn, so you can light fires faster. That's another random element. And then a fourth random element is whether there's coffee inside the farm. If there isn't coffee, then the speedrun is practically over already. You can't speedrun it. I mean, you can, of course, but you're going to be much, much slower doing it. So that's the issue. You won't find any more stims in the game. There's only one stim, and that's the one we just used. Well, there's also one in Ash Canyon if you really want to take the detour for that. So here we are. Now we're in the farm. Now we need to find coffee and tinder and all sorts of things. So we don't have coffee, as I can see. We have wood. We need matches we have, but we need tinder and stuff. There's usually some around. Book's good, but I already grabbed that. And we want to check in here also for clothing and coffee and things. Don't have any of that, but we can take the books. We check the first aid kit for bandages. Nothing there really. Okay. I don't have any tinder, do I? I should have grabbed a stick actually. So we need tinder. Shoot, there we are. I knew there was tinder somewhere. And then we light a fire. And this better work, because if not, we're kind of screwed. And I think I'll just restart. Come on, little fire. If this fire doesn't work, you can, of course, just grab a stick or find something else, make some more tinder. But we're not going to do that. So now, what we normally would do is to make coffee. But there isn't any coffee, as you can see. So that means that this challenge is kind of done already. Because now there isn't anything for me to use to actually start running. So unless I look around and I find coffee somewhere hidden, which seems unlikely, there isn't really anything for me to do. Because I can't regain my sprint. So that means I'm going to have to restart. You'll see there's all these other cloth and things here. So while I'm making coffee, I can grab these things to improve my run. You want to check all the medicine, but of course, what you want is bandages, because if you get a sprain, that's done. But as you can see, there's no coffee. So now, because you're in this situation here, the run is actually pretty much over. Because if I continue now, it's not going to be much of a speed run. I'm going to have to walk the entire way and slowly lose health because I'm tired and I have no way to regain that health. So the only other option now would be to sleep. I could sleep in the house, But then it won't be a speed run. It will take me like a whole day to do it. Your goal should be something like 6 hours or something like that to complete it. 8 hours is fine too. 5 or 4 to 5 hours is fantastic. So without the coffee, it's not possible. So if you want to speed run this properly, this is the time where you click escape and you actually quit. So we're going to do it again. And let's do it one more time. So first I'm going to delete this. I'll do a new challenge. We're going to do it again. And do the same thing all over again. And then we have to watch the mauling again. Because you can't skip it. Which is fun. And then we have to see what randomness we have this time. So that's one thing that's actually a bit annoying with this speed run, if you want to do this quickly, because there are certain elements that are outside of your control and that can heavily influence the run. Well, in other speed runs, that's not so much of a factor. Oh, same thing.
Blood.
Go.
All over.
Around this. And now I'm in the red already. So this actually is worse than the previous run because I'm already in the red. While the other one I had a bit more health. So this one is actually even worse in terms of health. Let's see what we got. We got the stim. But this time we have accelerant at least to guarantee the fire being lit. Let me grab that. We have newspaper for Tinder. Another newspaper. We'll grab this in case there's bandages. Which there isn't. We'll grab, we don't need a hatchet, we'll leave that. Grab whatever cloth and clothing we can find here. And then also this. Let's put this on and on. And then we got to do the same thing again, but now we have even worse health than before. So we have less of a margin to work with, which is very annoying. There are different approaches to how to conquer that. But the wind is not against us this time. So there's that. So we should be able to get to the farm faster. And this time we had RNG in favor in terms of... the RNG was in favor in terms of the wind being neutral. And we have accelerant and we have Tinder. But we're in disfavor in terms of our health. Slightly different shortcut than I showed last time. Be careful not to get any damage and try not to get sprains. If you get sprains, that's a big issue, so you need to have some bandages. There's particularly one area in this run where you are likely to get a sprain, and that is something you need to be prepared for and have a bandage. Alright, so we're approaching this. We don't have wind against us, and I think now, pop it, we run. What? The bear is coming. That's new. I've never seen that before in my life. Huh.
Sure getting cold.
Huh, that's new. The bear will, I've done this speedrun dozens of times, and also done walkthroughs of the challenge. And I've actually never in my life seen the bear come after me at this stage. That's very weird. That shouldn't happen. When you hear the noise, like the music change, the bear should be... The bear should be coming for you, but he won't reach you. And I actually had to stop to shoot him. What? Oh wow. That's new. I even shot the bear, what the hell? Okay, well that's just weird. Okay, well this challenge is over. If this happens to you, then you can just restart. You know, the challenge is done. Nothing you can do here. But that's weird. That should not happen. I've never seen this before.
Damn it.
Wow.
Bleeding all over the place.
Alright, well, let me go again. And the morning starts again. It sounds like it's windy, which may be bad. I don't hear the bleed out music, so I think we have some health in this one. There is a wind though, and I think the wind is actually against us again. Let's see. It is against us, which is unfortunate. We can still give it a try though. If there's coffee, so we'll give it a try.
I'm too tired to think straight.
So let's see what randomness we have this time. This time we have newsprint, stim, obviously this. We have, let's check this. Don't need that. Newsprint, flare, socks. We'll also grab this, check this. And then that. T-shirt. And then we'll grab this for wood. And then we'll go. And I think the wind is against us. We didn't get accelerant this time, but we did get some tinder. Maybe the tinder was the last time, I just missed it, but this challenge, if you want to speedrun this challenge, it's definitely the hardest of all the speedruns to do because it's quite short and there's a very small margin of error. Well, in the other speedruns, it's not that important unless you want to go for like the world record or something. So for example, speedrunning Hopeless Rescue, it's not that big a deal if you, you know, get some bad RNG, you don't get that many stims or something, you know. If that happens to you, it's not the end of the world. Because you can still get a good time. But here, you have to get everything right if you want to get a fast time. You have to have the right randomness. You know, you have to have the right wind. You have to get accelerant. You have to get coffee. And good clothing helps. Here it's colder than before. So this is a pretty bad one. This is a bad one.
So cold.
And again we're in the red. And we have the wind against us, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer because we're downhill anyway. I'm going to wait until I'm a little bit closer, so I would say, yeah, let's go now. And the wind is coming from the front, so I need to, that's the worst place it could come from, so I need to run against the wall. Actually coming slightly from this side. I need to run on the left side of the wall. Now I'm speeding up there. I need to get over here, and I think I'll be in cover here. Not really, barely. This is a very, very bad wind. But it's blowing straight against me. And it's making me run much, much slower than normal. Frostbite is now important. But now the wind is coming more from this side. I think it's, yeah, the wind against me pretty much that entire time. And normally you'd get the much easier. There can be wolves here as well, as you can see. If that happens though, they shouldn't be a problem because they're too far away. But you do have the distress pistol. You have 5 shells in your distress pistol, and you need at least 2 for the bear. Because he will attack you at least once before you leave Pleasant Valley, and at least once when you enter Mystery Lake. And it's quite likely there'll be other ones. So you need a minimum 2 for the bear, but try to reserve 3 or 4 for the bear. And you have like 1 extra for a wolf. There aren't many other wolves in the way, so you'll be okay. Plus with the wolves you can use the flare. So let's see here. Now we need to make a fire. I'm going to grab this wood here as well, quick. And we need coffee. And if there's no coffee, we need to start again. We do not have coffee, I don't think. Does not look like it. So, well, we have a lot of other good stuff though, but no coffee. And as I said before, if you don't have coffee, there's no point continuing the run. No, we do not have coffee. It's usually, it can be here on the shelf, but usually when you come in, the coffee will be here on this shelf, or it will be on over here on that shelf. So all this other stuff here doesn't matter. It's not going to help us anything. So we can just do the same thing as we did last time, because there's no point continuing. So you can see how frustrating this challenge is. If you want to speedrun it properly, there are a lot of elements that are outside of your control. And the biggest one of them is coffee. That's the main thing. You have to have it. I would say there's roughly a 75% chance that you have it. The other things, accelerant and wind, they are lesser factors. And health is probably a bit more important, but not that important. But yeah, we got no choice. We just got to go again. You can, of course, continue, like I said. But if you do, it's not really a speed run. Because in that case... Oh, actually, that's hunt 4. My bad, can't count. And then we'll do mauling again. But yeah. This time, when the mauling starts, if you can hear me, you can actually tell a few things. So I can tell by the background that it's not windy. It's actually still. So we have wind favor this time. And then we do the mauling, we can't skip it. And this is definitely the hardest in terms of achieving anything of all the challenges, because of it's not in your favor. If the health is very low, you have less of a margin at the end of the challenge. But what you really need is the first part. Once you get to the farmhouse and there's coffee there, then the rest of the challenge is pretty easy. Yeah, you might make some minor mistakes, but generally you'll be okay. This time it seems like we have decent weather. Health is all right. So this one is looking good. Now we just need to see if there's coffee. And again, if there isn't coffee, no point continuing. You can continue to complete the challenge, but not the speed run. Okay, we have stim, we have accelerant, so we have 2 of the good things. We get this. I'm gonna grab, we'll grab this. Check the first aid kit for bandages. No bandages. We're gonna grab this newsprint, the flare. We're gonna grab these. Ooh, wool sweater. So this is a good one. Now all we need is coffee. So we need that. And then that's everything really. And there we go. Yeah. If you want, you can grab these for good measure, but you don't need them. So we are good. We have good weather. We have good loot. We have stims. We have accelerant. I'm also going to grab a stick for good measure. You want to have an extra tinder or stick or something, because you might want to make another fire in the dam when you get to the dam if your health is running low. That is one option. Not necessary, but it will make the run a little bit easier. And there are ways to make that shortcut faster. So now we're doing alright, like it's cold but not super cold, so we're actually kind of ahead of the curve there. So this is a good one. And we have health. That's done. We need to grab the stim. We don't have the wind against us. We're not even cold yet, so this one is very, very good. And then, yeah, around here, when you get past this log, let's go. In case the bear for some reason were to show up, like it has done once. I'm doing this. You can ignore the wolf. he's not going to follow you long enough. And even if he did, you can just shoot him. So this one, the RNG is in my favor. I'm not getting cold until now, while in other ones, you can get cold by the time more or less you leave Skeeter's Ridge. I have accelerant, and I have good clothing as well. So if we have coffee, this is going to be a good speed run. If we don't have coffee, well, then we gotta start again. So you can see all the other elements in your favor, but none of them matter if you don't have coffee at the farm. You can have no coffee there, you can have 1 coffee, or you can have 5 coffees or 6. There's 4 different outcomes. So none is the worst, but you can also find a coffee cup sitting on the desk, and you can find the mug, the tin that gives you 5, and it can be combo those. So you find 0, 1, 5, or 6. Here we have good weather, so you can see and sprint all the way to the door. It should expire just before I enter the door, or maybe just on the door. And there we are. Alright, so now we look for coffee. Is there coffee in here? Is this the coffee run?
I'm so tired, I could lay down right here.
I don't see any coffee. And it seems to be the same issue as before. No coffee to be found. Let's check in here though, Sans is in here. Yes, this time we have coffee. Let's grab the coffee and the book for fire, and now we can get going. So now we need to do cooking of coffee as fast as we can. Oh, we have extra accelerant, that's fantastic. Alright, so let's make a fire quick. And we're going to use the accelerant. There we go, and put some wood on.
Oh yeah.
Especially the heavy wood. And then we're going to use this. And first we're going to grab the toilet water. Because we can't make water, that takes too long. So we grab toilet water. And there's also a pot here. We'll grab that. So then we can make 3 coffees. And while those are cooking, we can look around for some... we don't need food and things. But we can grab, for example, this. We want bandages, is the thing. We have wool toque, we have storm lantern. We don't need sewing kit, but I'm just grabbing it out of habit here. Tea we don't really need. This we can take. Let's look around some more here. We don't need any of this stuff. No. And then we're going to go upstairs. We're going to check more clothing. Here's the ski jacket. More socks. And we got... do you have any bandages here? We have 1 bandage, that should be enough. If not, that will be terrible, but it is what it is. Check quickly in the bathtub. Okay. The coffee is ready, but we're going to check one more thing, which is here. Doesn't seem to be anything, though. Okay. We can also loot the rest of the house if you want. I'm going to sort that out in a second. So, now the coffee should be done. Take that, take that, take that, and then we're going to make the other 2 coffees. And then we can also, for the sake of it, do this. We can also just place this here. This is just for warmth purposes, that's all this is. And then I'm going to grab some of these to have some. I'm going to put clothing on because I found some clothing that was good, so that's alright. I'm going to grab some torches for warmth. I'm going to place my coffees here so I'm sure that they are warm. I can also place this. Grab some more torches. You can get by just making 3 coffees and then go. And I'm grabbing torches. They're for light and they are for warmth. Most importantly, warmth. 7 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, we can wait that. This is not a world record speedrun, so we can wait a couple minutes. Let's try and get good torches only. Bad torches, bad torches, bad torch. Sorry if you have sensitive vision because it's going to get bright. That's alright as well. Okay, take that, take this, take this. I'll take these 2 as well in case. We'll take that. Grab these, grab these, grab that, this, and let's go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drink immediately one of the coffees. Because now, because we drank the coffee, we can sprint. So now we can start running. And once I have finished running, I'm going to drink another coffee while the sprint meter recharges. Because the sprint meter will recharge faster if I have more than 25% fatigue. So let's see. And I'm practically hydrated already, but as long as you're a little bit hydrated, you can do it. Here comes the bear. So now the bear's going to catch up with me. He's going to come running. There he is. He will catch up with me in a sec. And I need to now just get this ready. And you want to shoot him when he's getting kind of close. You know, when he'll start attacking you or get too close. You just got to keep an eye on him here. He's going to get too close soon. And then I'm going to actually sprint a bit, because we're approaching a slope where if I sprint up the slope, I'm likely to get a sprain. And I don't want a sprain, because I only have one bandage. Okay, here he comes. He's going to get too close in a sec. I can also trigger a charge if I want to. I'm going to walk a little bit. Here he comes again. I can trigger a charge like that by aiming at him. Okay. Gonna head towards the hill here and get a bit closer, and then he got scared. Reload this. Have a drink. And then we're gonna head up this slope. So this will allow us to get up towards Mystery Lake Cave faster. But I'm trying not to run up here because it's likely to get a sprain. If you get a sprain, that's very bad. If you get a sprain on the feet, you can't sprint anymore, which is terrible. If you get a sprain on your hands, it's not that big a deal. Here he is, he's coming back. So this is why I said you need to make sure you preserve this. You need at minimum 2 to get rid of the bear, which is 1 here. And 1 in Mystery Lake, but you might need more. So here it comes again. I might be able to avoid him completely, but I doubt it. My sprint meter is charged, so I'm going to start running. I'm going to head towards the cave to Mystery Lake. He's going to catch up with me eventually, though. Yeah, it's this way. I'm checking behind me to see what he's like. He's getting close, but he's still behind me. It is possible to get to this cave without using another flare shell, but it is difficult. It is tricky, but it can be done. There's also a certain randomness factor to the bear, whether he actually charges you or not. Okay, now I'm really hoping that he doesn't block my way, because then I have to use another flare shell. Usually he doesn't run this way. There are some bad luck that can't be avoided here. Oh wow, he's already back. This is unusual. Normally, the bear does not get in my way this much. And we might be able to go around them though, and not spend another flare. Let's see if I can do that. I think we should be able to, so I'm going to run. Go around here and up on this ledge. And up here. And up and in. He's not going to follow us inside. Okay, I was able to get past him without using that. So there we go. I'm going to drink another coffee. It's cold now, but that's alright. I'm going to light, not the flare, but oh, that was pointless because that has no... Ooh, I'm going to use this. I'm going to recharge my sprint meter while I'm walking. I have 1 coffee left, but that's okay. Bit of bad luck with the bear there, but we managed with 2 shells, 3 left. Here you can do a little shortcut. You can go down here, jump on this ledge, and down, and then you don't take damage. And you skipped this whole little route there. And you go down here. I'm going to try and wait to sprint until I'm out in the open, but we'll see. If the sprint meter is fully charged, you should just sprint. Sometimes in speedruns you deliberately dump clothing that penalizes sprint, but we're not going to do that today. There we are inside the cave. I can do a very short sprint. And then we're going up here. And then we're out. And there's actually a sprint trick you can use to utilize the sprint more. Instead of holding the button in, you tab it very gently. So you hold and then release and hold again. So it's kind of like hold, release, hold, release, hold, release, hold, release. And then you sprint slightly further. You can actually, if you look very closely at my sprint meter, you see it stops occasionally. It basically allows you to sprint for like maybe a second or two longer. There we go. And we're going to drink the last coffee to retain our sprint regeneration timer. From here on, it's not too difficult. So we should be right. The bear will not attack us here in Winding River. There can be wolves though, so you got to be careful with that. We can pick up a stone if we want to, but we don't need it because we have the stress pistol. The flare that I found is best used here, because now the flare can be used to deter the wolves. But you could also just use the stress pistol. Just make sure you have at minimum one flare ready when you get to Mystery Lake. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, rabbit. And now we have the wind against us, so now we have bad RNG. So if you wanted to actually beat the world record in this challenge, the margins are so small that you're gonna have to do it many times. You need the right loot, you need the right weather conditions, the right RNG with the bear and your health. There's so many factors that come into play that you're gonna have to repeat it again and again and again if you want the world record in this. In my honest opinion, it's not worth doing. I do enjoy doing speedruns, but I don't really feel that bothered about it to be the fastest in the world. For me, it's enough of an achievement to just, you know, be able to speedrun it. You go away, bear, wolf, rather. You eat your thingy. So let's run.
If I don't warm up soon.
Use our sprint. May recharge a little bit earlier, but I had the wind against me anyway. And then I'm gonna go up here. And over to the dam. I don't even know if we need this, if I'm honest. But this we need. I'm gonna light it once we get closer to the wall. And then we need to enter the dam. In the dam, there's a couple things you can look for. There's a couple coffees that can spawn there. They're very rare, but there's 2 microwaves where there can be coffees. Usually there isn't a coffee there, but it can happen. In which case you get an extra little boost. Stims you're not going to find. You can find bandages, but not stims. Stims are kind of like locked in this challenge. Careful running here. Then we're going to go inside. Grab that in case I want to make a little fire. And then we check in here. There's nothing really to loot here, but we can check this microwave. And no coffee today. And then we keep going. The rest of this stuff we don't really need. There can be a wool scarf down here, which maybe is better than what we have to warm up a bit. We'll sort out in a sec. There's also a torch over here. And in here, in the dam, if you're very cold or feel like you don't have enough health to continue, you can here make a little break and start another fire to warm up a little bit, and then you leave, because that will give you a bit more of a margin. To get a very fast run, you don't actually need to do it. You can manage to get the trappers from here with this amount of health, even if you're cold. But it is tricky. So if you just want to do it fast, but without having to rush, you can make a fire. And I think we'll do that. Check here, there's the other microwave, no coffee. I don't think I've ever seen coffee there. But the other one can have coffee. But yeah, it is rare. We don't need any of this stuff. Then we're approaching the fire barrel. And what we can do here is we have a second accelerant, so we can make a fire here. This again isn't strictly necessary, but just to give us a bit more of a margin to make sure we succeed, we can take a very short break here, light this fire barrel, and I found a second accelerant as well, so I can just quickly make a fire. Put on all the rest of my stuff, because I don't need it. We'll make, I don't think we can make much with this, but we can heat this up, for example, and this. And then we can also place this. And then I can quickly check inventory, because maybe this is better. Doesn't look like it. No, so we can drop that. We can also just dump some things we don't need. We don't really need them anymore. And I guess that is it. Yeah, we can also drop that. So we're very light. So we're warming up, not by a lot, but we are warming up. And we're just going to wait those 10 minutes, so we're kind of wasting time doing this. But it's just easier to make sure we are nice and warm this way. I'm going to drink the tea, just because now we're going to warm up a bit more. And then we'll do the same with these peaches. This is why I grabbed the peaches, just in case I wanted to make a second fire to warm up a little bit more. It gives us more of a margin to succeed in the challenge. Other than that, we are near the end of the run now. I'm going to keep my flare. I don't really need this. I'm going to leave that. I could light it, I suppose. And then I have my torches. Then I'm going to eat this to warm up some more. I'm also going to eat this to warm up some more. And then we can go. Oops, that's light the fire. And then we can go. So let's run. Only a little bit. I would say until here. Then we're going to recharge our sprint to full, so we can sprint when we come out. And now the bear is going to be out there waiting for us. So we need to have this rest pistol ready. We ignore the rest of the loot. And the bear will now be... See, the gate is actually open. And he's going to be around here. It does happen that the bear doesn't spawn. In which case you're a bit lucky. So it is possible to come out and the bear's not around. At the moment it seems like he might not be. Yeah. That's unusual. Because usually he is around here, but the music isn't playing, so we're lucky. But he will show up soon. Okay, so we're gonna start running. Oh, here he is. He's in front of us instead. This is why we need the extra rounds. We need at least one now for this. Here he comes. And now again he's running in front of us, which is very annoying. It is actually possible to speedrun this challenge with the bear not being at you at all in Mystery Lake. Because it is possible to get out of the dam and run all the way over here without the bear actually getting to you. And then if you run fast enough to the cabin, he's actually never going to reach you. In this case, we're a bit unlucky that he was in front of us and he didn't run far enough away. You can also scare the bear away with this. It doesn't really scare him as much, but it kind of stops him in his tracks. In an emergency, I can use that. And now I'm just waiting for my sprint meter to recharge. Keeping an eye on the bear. Over here there's some wolves that could be in the way. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And you have to be a little bit careful with this guy. We only have 2 shells left. So it's possible to complete this challenge with 2 shells only, but we're likely going to be using all 5. Because once he gets too close, I'm trying to prevent that from happening. The wolf is here, but the wolf is not a threat because I have the bear. The wolf will run away from the bear if the bear gets too close. And again, he runs in front of me. I did tag him this time though with the flare shell, so it's possible he'll run further. But this is a very unfortunate speedrun in that he ran in front all the time. But because I tagged him now, he may run further away. It looks like he's doing the opposite though. He's just hanging around near me all the time. So the bear RNG in this run is very bad. The loot and stuff is very good. So now I have 1 left. I'd like to have more, but what are you going to do? And now we just got to make it to Trapper's cabin. So you can see, because we were warm earlier, it's a little bit easier to traverse than if we were cold. The wind is kind of against us, not completely. The bear is likely to come back. When you get good hits like that, where the flare actually sticks to the bear, and he runs off with the flare on him, that's better because he runs away further and it's less of a problem. But if you just scare him off, like on the other times, then he doesn't run as far. So here he comes again. I probably will have to scare him off again with my flare gun. But I think we'll be okay after that. Let's hope. Yeah. And now we have the wind somewhat against us. I'm waiting for the sprint to recharge fully. I'm going to sprint now. This is possibly the last time I sprint, because the wind is against me. And it's making it a little bit difficult. And the bear is right on my tail as well. We're now getting cold and tired. Bear is coming. If we're lucky, he will wait a while, because the rest of this challenge we're pretty much just going to walk it. And that makes it harder. Go away. Stay away. You can also break the bear's aggro by taking shortcuts that make it difficult for him to get past. Like that. Okay. That's the last shot. So now I have to just hope that I can make it all the way there without him coming back. And if he does, the only defense I have is this flare. Because now we're very close to trappers. We are okay in terms of our condition, so we can definitely make it. But because we had such bad luck with the actual bear, he could catch up with us here. And then we have very limited defense against him, which is not great. The upside of tagging him with the flare gun is that he does, he's quite visible for when he comes back. Alright, so now we have used our sprint. We're at the top of the hill. And now we just need to get back down. And we could have double bad luck here, which is that there could be a moose. There's the bear. Is he coming back? Or is he walking about? I think he's coming back. We might be able to avoid him though. So down here is trappers. But there can also be a moose here. There's the bear, he's coming. I'm going to light this right away in case. It can stop in its tracks. There can also be a moose here, and if there is, you just got to circumvent the moose. It's all you can do. Because if you have a distress pistol though, if you haven't used all your shells, you can actually get rid of the moose by just shooting at it. If the bear mauls us here, it's possible we would still actually make it, because we are so close. So we might make it. The bear will stop if I throw this flare at him, but only barely. It won't flee usually. I think we can actually make it without needing it. Yeah, we got it. And there we go. So here we are. That was the goal. So let's see the time we got. We got 5 hours 34. So that's how you can do it. As you can see, the margins are quite thin for this challenge. And it can be really fun to do, but it can also be very frustrating to do because there's so many random elements that are outside of your control. You need to have the right weather, the right health, you need to have accelerant, you need to have coffee. If you're lucky, at most you can get 7 coffees, that's the most you can get. And then that's it. But you can also get really bad luck with the bear. I've actually never had this much bad luck with the bear, where in one occasion he spawned in front of me in Pleasant Valley. Never had that happen before. And also on the way out of Pleasant Valley, he kept running in front of me when I scared him off. So I had to use all 5 flares this time, plus an actual lighting flare, when normally you only need 2 or 3. And if you watch my speedrun, as you can see, I have actually done this faster, 4 hours 42. That speedrun is on my channel. It's not narrated, it's silent. If you want to see how I did that, you can check it out, how you can get an even faster time than this. But then most of the RNG is in your favor, you know. But this is how you would do it if you do want to speedrun this. You're likely going to have to reload many times, because if you don't have coffee, you can't do a speedrun. You can sit down and sleep if you like, but then you're adding hours to the timer, so there's no real point in doing it. If you don't have coffee in the farm, the challenge is over. If you do have coffee in the farm, then the other factors that play in is your health and the weather, and also the bear itself, and also accelerant and bonus coffees. So there's a whole bunch of things that matter. And if you want a perfect time, a really, really fast time, you're going to have to get all of those random elements in your favor. So being the fastest in the world in this challenge is part skill and part luck. While a lot of the other challenges, it's more skill than luck, but this is an exception. But yeah, so that's how you speedrun the Hunted Part 1. As you could see, there were some failures that happened, and it is difficult, but this is how you can do it if you want to do it very fast. So with that said, let this flare burn out, and hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I'll see you next time, survivors. And yeah, I don't like this old bear. He's always causing trouble. Alright, see you next time, survivors. Bye bye.